This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey, guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO. Hey, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to WFO Ignition. I'm Joe Castello, your podcast host. Click subscribe and wait to write a review. Maybe it'll be a positive, wonderful review after it's all over. Man, this was much better than I totally expected. Or maybe it'll be like a negative thing, and then we're going to try to talk you out of it. Don't do that. Don't write a negative anything. Just go away. Never speak of this again. That would really be positive to us. But yes, back in the studio after Maple Grove, the Mopar Express Lane NHRA Nationals up there in, Monton, Pennsylvania, Reading, Pennsylvania, by the Reading Railroad, right? Monopoly is how most people know the Reading Railroad. Other people know Reading Railroad as like a very important railroad for all the railroad historians out there. Spent a little time up there, had a good time. It was very cool. It was fun. It was exciting. A lot of great racing, a lot of upsets, a lot of shocking results, a lot of shocking performances. New Top Fuel world record. Brittany Force and David Grubnick setting the new world record, 1,000 feet, 3.623 seconds. Wow. Stunning. Ron Capps runs 383 at 339 miles per hour. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's not real. There was a big thing going on behind the scenes. A lot of people were like, that's not real. That can't be real. Can't be real. And, under the surface where you guys do not dwell. But after some work and some debate and some investigation, and people's doubts were removed. Not everybody's doubts, but a lot of the doubts were removed. It was real, which is awesome. That's what people like to see. That's what I like to see. We had a great race day. Richie Crampton picks up the win over Doug Coletta. Doug Coletta on fire. Capco cars out first round, both of them. When was the last time that happened? Oh, man. Things are going to get wild. Funny car, Fast Jack Beckman over John Force. John Force, back-to-back finals. John Force has made the final round, 3 of the last 4 races. Looking strong. John Force. It's going to be very interesting to see how that all goes down. Pro Stock, Jason Line has had the best car. Erica Enders goes out, second round or semis? We'll get into all of this on NHRA Nitro podcast interviews this week. Giovanni in Miami, have I said that you're here yet? No.
I'm not here.
Giovanni in Miami is here.
Nope, not really.
He's here.
Am I really?
And Jerry Savoie has now won back-to-back races on his White Alligator Racing Suzuki.
That gator sure can move.
Yes, he can. Yes. And good reaction times.
It's almost like if the other bike is doing zigzags.
Trying
to get away from the gator.
On a mission. And the new NHRA Nitro podcast format of multiple interviews as opposed to 1 3-hour or 2-hour show. I spoke with a lot of WFO radio listeners out there. A lot of speaking out there. You might be able to hear in my voice that it's like sketchy. Deep and Hawk was like, hey, man, I want to call on the show. And I was like, man, I'll let you know the next time that we do the show. And I'm not letting them know this now. No way. This is going to be a meat and potatoes one, folks. Get ready. And the host said that it was not going to be a really long show. But yes, it was a very fun event. Talked to a lot of WFO radio listeners, and they said they like the new format. They like it. They like the rollout. They like, a couple of interviews today, a couple of interviews tomorrow. They like to be able to, go back and check them all out. We are still working on the best way to do it, though. The best way to roll out the interviews. Like which one should be last, which one should be first. Should there be something great first and last? And then, the slightly, not that there's a minor guest or anything, but if there was, should they go in the middle? All that stuff is being debated. That's all up for debate. So we're debating. There's a big debate going on. The NASCAR world, Martin Truex Jr. picks up the win of the first race of their playoff system. I have been using the word playoffs a lot. NHRA has the countdown, right? It's the NHRA countdown. But nobody knows what that is, man. It's the playoffs. It's the playoffs.
Playoffs?
It's the playoffs. Do we have that drop? How do we not?
It's in the previous rendition of our memory banks that we can't get to.
What do you mean? I don't really know what you mean.
Like in one of those computers that's not functioning.
Oh, well, those things are available. We can get new ones. Playoffs, just because everybody knows that. But, so Martin Truex Jr. wins the race, but Kyle Busch, yikes.
Oh, the happy guy.
Well, Gio texted me the results, and honestly, I just got off a plane. I hate to say that, but I'm not up to speed. Poker guys came in tonight. Poker guys doing their poker show, Poker Action Line, and here we are doing Ignition, and that's the deal. This would be a perfect week for a midweek show. And maybe, who knows what's possible. But I plan to sit down and watch the race and enjoy the race. Instead, I received a text message about, Kyle Busch's back and forth. And I did see what he did. He just drove right into the back of Garrett Smithley, the 52, just right into the back. And Garrett is someone that we got to know a little bit down at Homestead Miami Speedway in the, the fan zone. And Garrett's like aunt or something hangs out there. And we have a slight or moderate personal connection to Smithley. I don't see what he was supposed to do. Like my drop is always, what I'm supposed to do. What I'm supposed to do. Supposed to go low? Is he supposed to drive into the wall? What I'm supposed to do? Kyle Busch. He held his line and just Kyle rammed it right up the butt.
He rear-ended him.
Well, he rear-ended him. What I'm supposed to do? And I don't see it. So Kyle answers, a host of questions, and this is the text. I was kind of looking for this audio. I was asking Gio to look for the audio.
Of Kyle?
How happened there with the 53, which that's bad grammar. What happened there with the 53? And Kyle's answer, 52, get it right, don't know. How'd that impact your car? Killed it. Were you happy you were able to come back after the early damage? Nope. What happened at the end of the race? I'm just here so I don't get fined. How about the heat? Did it affect anything? Felt great. Any thoughts on going to a place where you won last time at Richmond? Nope. Can't pass. Can't pass there. Feel okay about your chances overall? Don't care. Did it help to have bonus points coming into the race? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Said something about also it stinks of leaning on your insurance. My rates are going to go up or something to that extent.
You feel like if you were able to get a top 10, turns around, puts up hands in frustration, and says, I'm answering the dumbest effing questions over and over again, and leaves. But here's the thing. I agree they are very dumb questions. I mean, I agree. I do think that there is a time where the journalist has to separate himself, or the human being has to separate himself from the journalist. I know there's professionalism, but you find yourself in a circumstance where you're dealing with someone who is not being professional themselves. For you to just blindly continue with your questions, blind to the moment that is happening before you, I think that the person is going to do exactly what Kyle Busch did. I don't know that I could get away from a situation like that without talking about the situation. Kyle, you're obviously being very abrupt with your answers. You don't want to get fined, though, but you drove into the back of the guy.
Yeah, but we all know that a NASCAR reporter that follows the circus around cannot ask that question. No, they may be able to.
What's the story
the
following
Kyle
week?
loses his Schmidt.
Yes.
And next thing you know, this person never gets another interview.
Is that really the way it is?
It's quite possible.
Well, that's the thing, though. If that is the case, then it needs to be rooted out. I know that there's discussion of that over the years, but we've heard people take tough questions. There have been tough questions that answered. Like a statement of fact is not going to get you fired. Kyle Busch is going to ban an interview from Moishe Pupik because Moishe Pupik stated fact. Hey, Kyle, you drove into the back of the 52, and you're mad at us. And what happens? What does he say? What's he go on? You know what? Maybe he does explode. Maybe he attacks.
It might be worth it, right?
It would be worth it. Yes, absolutely.
Like
at some point,
Jim Rome, Jim Everett moment?
At some point, yes, Chris. At some point, the human being and the reporter need to be separated. Because all those reporters just taking that whooping from Kyle Busch when he was wrong. Even Giovanni in Miami stood up to Joe Rose. Like, so you should not.
Yeah, but that was a personal attack, I guess.
Well, no, not really. It was an unprofessional moment and a deal, and you said, hey, you.
But I didn't do it in front of a camera. I waited till we were, in the commercial break in the bullpen.
So what? You pull Kyle aside. You're not going to get a time to do that because Kyle's going to go off and get in his airplane. He's going to get in his airplane, right? He's going to fly back on his.
Well, they were in Vegas, so it's a fly away trip.
Or go to his family's house and.
Oh, yeah, I didn't consider that.
Hey, man, why are you mad at us?
Go to mom and dad's.
Why are you mad at us? You're the one who drove into the back of somebody. You're obviously angry at yourself and you're taking it out on us. Which he was. Treating those professionals or whatever they are, employees, whatever you want to call them, representatives,
pit reporters, whatever they are. They're just people there doing their job.
They're doing their job.
Honest.
Clearly, he does not have respect for that profession. That's all. And when, those that want respect, give respect. In the immortal words of Tony Soprano.
I don't think he's the first person that came up with that.
No, I know, but he said it the best. Those that want respect, give respect. Words to live by.
An interior decorator. This place looked like crap.
Here are the results from Las Vegas, which I'll be going to Las Vegas, not far off. The Pepper Mill, baby, the Pepper Mill. I'm going to be there. It's going to be 6 in the morning. I'm going to be sipping a coffee, reading the paper at the Pepper Mill, having an omelet, a Western. It's going to be great. Who's coming? We're going to do 6 a.m. Vegas at the Pepper Mill one day at the Vegas drag race. Martin Truex Jr. wins. Kevin Harvick second. Brad Keselowski third. Martin Truex picking up the win. Joey Logano was in the mix late in the going, but got caught up in late race traffic, and Truex goes by. So Truex immediately advances. He will advance.
That was the end of the second stage.
He will advance to. Oh, really? Is that the highlight I just saw? Okay.
Yeah, that was the end of stage 2.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of which, trying to catch up on a race on NASCAR.com is impossible. They have done the opposite. They have broken every highlight into a separate video, and if you want to watch multiple, you got to watch a commercial in between every one. Except it's the same commercial, which is that.
And they give you like a 15 to 30 second video, and then you have to sit through a 15 to 30 second spot. Like, that's too much for me.
Obviously,
I didn't play a few minutes of video, and then I got to sit through a 15 second spot. I can live with that.
A mid roll,
but come on. 30-second, 15, 20-second video, and then I got to sit through a 15, 30-second spot. Ridiculous.
And I'm worried about reading the spots at the start of the interviews on Nitro because we're doing it a little different. We've got sponsors. The sponsor plug portion of each thing takes about a minute and a half. I talk about everybody. I welcome to the show. And I know that there are some people out there that are annoyed by it, right? They're annoyed. But it's not near. Everyone is different. I throw in some funny quips in between. Some factual information. This is just pure commercial, man. Your video stops. Everything glitches. It's gross.
And it's the same commercial over and over and over.
Yeah, saw it like 4 times. All right, let's hear what Martin Truex Jr. had to say about this massive win, first race of the playoffs.
Well, I think it's huge. I think it's huge for a lot of reasons. First off, we've had a stretch of 6 or 7 races, maybe 6, that we've been really strong in, and we feel like we've had cars capable of winning, and we honestly don't have a whole lot to show for it. We had no bonus points in that stretch, and it was getting frustrating. But we knew we were really fast, and we knew we were working on the right things, and I knew the team was doing a great job. So it's kind of like for us inside of our own minds, it's kind of it's kind of indication that, hey, we were doing the right things. We are doing the right things. And, when we can get things to roll our way and not make any mistakes, this is what we can do. So great timing, obviously, with the playoffs starting to be able to do it. And, I think a lot of people have been like, hey, where's the 19 been? We don't expect them to be that strong. And we know we can. We know what we can do. So when we live up to our potential, it makes us all happy. And I know everybody that makes this happen, Coach and Johnny and Jeff and all the men and women back at the shop, they've seen this. They knew what we were capable of. So that, for me, that just feels good to be able to do the job we're here to do. And, hopefully we can carry this momentum on. Most importantly, the playoff points are huge. We got 6 tonight, and we got 2 more weeks to try to get some more with no consequences.
There you go. And so to capsulize it, Martin Truex Jr. said,
well, I think it's huge. I think it's huge.
Just once.
Yeah. Well.
You never were able to cut it out?
I did. I just wasn't playing it.
Well, I think it's huge.
There you have it. It's huge. It is huge. Well, he advances to the next segment just like that.
And the win, too.
The win, all of these things. So Kevin Harvick 2nd, Brad Keselowski 3rd, Chase Elliott 4th, Ryan Blaney 5th, Bowman the Showman 6th, Lord Byron 7th, Kyle Larson 8th, Joey Logano 9th, and Ryan Newman 10th. Jimmy Johnson 11th, Austin Dillon 12th, followed by Eric Almirola, Paul Menard, Denny Hamlin. How about Paul Menard? Did we talk about Matty D, Matt DiBenedetto, and the Wood brothers?
No, it happened after, that we did an early week show again on Monday last week, and I think that news broke maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, and the word is it's going to be, all the Penske stuff. So,
well, they are a Penske-associated team like they are right now.
So,
but Menard is staying for the full season, and I did believe I read somewhere that Paul would like to work something out so that Menards becomes a full-time sponsor on that car and Matty D is a full-time driver.
Wow.
That they can work something out beyond the 1-year arrangement that they have for right now.
That is exciting.
Hey, we said it here. Matty D deserves a top-notch ride.
Period.
That's it.
Yes.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Matty D. Good job, Matty D.
He deserves it. Way to go.
Well, this is the hard scrabble, claw your way up kind of story. Simple as that.
Yes.
Austin Dillon 12th, Eric Almirola 13th, Paul Menard 14th, Denny Hamlin 15th, Ty Dillon, Daniel Hemrick, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch 19th, Daniel Suarez, Matt DiBenedetto 21st, David Reagan, Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, Clint Boyer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece, Corey LaJoie, Landon Castle, Matt Tifft, Ross Chastain, J.J. Yaley, B.J. McLeod, Joe Nemechek. Hey, I love Joe Nemechek. Back in the mix again. Garrett Smithley, Eric Jones, Reed Sorensen, Joey Gase, and Kurt Busch, shotgun on the field in 39th. And there are your results for Vegas. In terms of the playoffs, the guys that are on the inside, the top 12, Truex, Harvick, Lagana. Let's tell you the guys that are on the outside. Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Clint Boyer, and Eric Jones. 13 through 16. And
well, if you notice the top 10, segueing back to something we've been saying for many, many years, playoff races are won by playoff drivers. Truex, demonstrates that this week. And if you look, the top 10 are all playoff drivers.
Simple as that.
So how do you expect to gain any positions when the top 10 are playoff drivers, and I believe it was 12 out of the top 15? So only 12 guys are going to advance. So if you can't get in there and finish in the top 10 or top 12, it's going to be, if you can't win a race, it's going to be almost impossible to make up any positions.
Exactly. So we'll see, though. It should be very interesting to follow along. WFO Radio Fantasy League, here are your results. Los Chincones wins the week, 335 points, followed by Jambalaya J Racing, who reached out to me, actually connected regarding Maple Grove, 327. Driving Hard, 315, along with Highline Real Fine, 315. JG24LKB, 310. JJ Husker Fan, 6, 309. Uper 1, 305. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR, 304. Todd with Royal Flush Racing. And Lugnuts, 303.
I noticed that the scores were considerably lower than the last couple of weeks. I believe last week they were in the 360s, and the week before when you and I had those monster almost 400 points.
Yes, remember that?
How quickly we have fallen.
The biggest gainer, Driving Hard, up 7 positions. The biggest loser, Hockey Kid, down 7 positions. The overall leader, Bulls Wool, but Patrick the Webmaster draws within 6 points.
Wow, wasn't he? I think it was like 20 last week.
It's
neck and neck.
Can't shine a flashlight between them. Jambalaya J Racing is 37 back. I can see her Almirola's, Steve the Trucker. Concerns about having his name on the trophy turned out to be premature. 121 back. Bug Barn, 126 back. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR making a charge, 144 back. Royal Flush Racing, Team 12, Stubo. 9th, Elephant Racers rounding out the top 10. Now on the 5s.
I got to tell you, everybody in the top 10 actually has a chance.
Yes.
The top 3 obviously are right in there.
They have the best chance. Driving Hard, 15th, just ahead of Rich and Saugus and behind Smothered and Covered. Rich is also ahead of the other Rich, Dirty Hippies.
Rich and Rich are...
Low Blinker Fluid is 20th. Los Chincones and Craig and Newhall just ahead. Sacramento Racing Fan just behind. Hockey Kid 22nd. 25th, Tom Inc.
Where did you go? You were like battling the hippie last
week. I'm 29th down there with Little Low, who is 30th.
Oh.
Yeah. I dropped 3 more positions. Just having a tough go of it. JJ Husker Fan 35th. Just ahead of Gary Corbett. I was talking about Gary Corbett.
Gary.
Who was I talking to? What were we talking about?
Probably iRacing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Of course it was. Anytime somebody brings up iRacing, I always think of Gary.
That's it. No, we're talking about iRacing and just a bunch of different stuff. And then, went to the Grammy Award winner. What song? She Bop. And I was there with someone who was a little older than me and a couple people that much younger than me.
And nobody ever
No, the old guy knew and thought She Bop was a great, amazing song.
It actually is a really cool song.
Yeah. No, he said, and the other two did not. They didn't. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's interesting
these
dynamic.
Kids don't know anything about anything.
It's kind of tough. I found myself in a bus with what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, adult males, right? And we're having, I won't say who. Protect the innocent. But the conversation was, who is the best? Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, or 98 Degrees, I think is what the conversation was. Something like that.
Oh, it'd have to be the Backdoor Boys, Justin Tinkerbell's band.
I just didn't.
Or which whenever Tinkerbell was on.
I didn't participate.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But I would say which whenever Tinkerbell was on.
Yeah.
Justin.
Well, he was in NSYNC.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I would name him.
NSYNC.
Because I think that 98 Degrees is...
Nick Lachey.
There you go, Nick Lachey.
Yeah. And I know you from the Neil days. I don't even know if that was what the conversation was. Believe it or not.
But you guys were discussing boy bands.
I wasn't. I was discussing Francis Albert Sinatra.
You were in a conversation. And
listen, young bloods. We were talking about... They were saying that
that Sinatra had like 500 different hair pieces. I've heard about that.
They were saying...
Is that what they were talking about?
I Want It That Way is one of the greatest songs ever written. Ever.
Oh, yeah, it's right up there with like...
And I was like, are you serious? And then, I was like, excuse me, I'm sorry. How about My Way, sung by Francis Albert? How about that? And you know what? They looked at me and they blinked like they don't know Francis Albert. Is that where we are now in world history where, like 20-somethings just don't even know about even Frank Sinatra?
Well, if you would have said Sinatra, they might have recognized the name.
I said Francis Albert, and then I said Frank Sinatra, and they, no respect.
Well, the guy's been dead for like 20 years.
Yeah, so what?
I can understand someone who's 20 years old might not have heard of him.
Lives forever. How do you avoid Frank Sinatra?
I don't think you avoid. It's just not like commonplace. Where do you hear it? On the radio?
Commercials.
Again, but if you don't know what it is,
Movies.
You just think that that's whomever it is that stole the riff.
I think it's inexcusable. Seriously, like there are things. What about like George Washington? Some guy, old guy at the beginning. I don't know, whatever. It's irrelevant to me.
I think American history is slightly different than musical history, but
I guess Frank Sinatra, man, come on.
I understand, but I could see where someone who, I was talking to one of my nephews that's in their 20s, and I mentioned something about Billy Joel, and they looked at me like if I was an alien. And I was like, you don't know Billy Joel? And then I realized they were born in 1991. And I'm like, well, yeah, I could see why they might not know Billy Joel. Well, this is actually,
it's kind of funny, but that's there's someone to blame. We'll have to work on who it is, but definitely something to blame. Carlos Hawkins stuff is all over this because there's this phenomenon on YouTube about showing people who don't know anything the stuff and then watching them react. And so, like, the Bohemian Rhapsody movie came out, and all those kids, they did not know Queen or Freddie Mercury or what it was or where it came from or anything. And, all those riffs, Another One Bites the Dust, etc., have turned up in a lot of different places. But so there's this, like, crew of, guys there, the brothers, and they're watching Freddie Mercury concert footage from the Live Aid concert or whatever. And they are, like, blown away. Like, what? That beat came from this? What? And it's like, oh my God, really? And I get it. People in their lives now are so overwhelmed by so many different things, content, new stuff, that, finding old stuff is probably, how do you go back and find it if no one is serving it up for you, I guess? Like your parents are supposed to. Hello, young person. You want to hear something interesting? This is really good music. Check it out. Screw you, Mom and Dad. Anything you like, I hate.
But at the same time, my kid listens to the music that I play in the car when we're in the car those few minutes or whatever it is. And so he knows a lot of, he specifically knows a lot of Primus music. But, he'll hear some classic rock and stuff like that. But, I don't go around playing, half the library of music that I know of and have heard of.
Well, that's where our civilization is beginning to fall apart.
Your dad didn't sit you and play all those classic records. You found out about it on your own.
No,
I
did. I listened to it. You're kidding? No, Dion and the Belmont, like doo-wop, like my dad's like personal likes. I absolutely did not only listen and build a knowledge of them, but also go before, after, talk about what came first. We like music. And then I, went down a little bit of a road. There's stuff that I've got holes in my knowledge. You know what I mean? Just like everybody. And that's another thing that Carlos says is that a lot of these kids, because, you get your mobile device when you're young, and then you can immediately just get whatever it is that you want, as opposed to like listening to the radio back in the day where you kind of served stuff that you don't want. And
that's what I mean.
Maybe you learn to like something
to the radio anymore. Like. Everybody's got their own playlist, and when you keep liking the certain songs, they feed you stuff that sounds like what you already listened to.
So the story Carlos was saying is that like young kids that like hip hop don't know about like Jay-Z
or Rakim,
right?
Eric
like
B,
like
right.
Big like what? No, they never heard it because where are they going to hear it if they don't?
I get it.
Who's going to serve it to them? Where is it being served? If you're selecting your own stuff, how do you ever find anything new? That's pretty much it. So I guess that's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy thing. I saw Rocket Man on the plane. I can do a movie review.
Elton John?
Yeah. Elton John.
Well, I know there's a Springsteen movie out, too.
Yeah, it's a kind of a Springsteen movie. It's not about...
No, it's about the guy that saw the concert and got inspired or something, right? Something like that?
I thought it was about an Indian kid who plays Springsteen music. And there's another movie. And there's another movie about a kid who is... maybe I'm conflating the two. Nobody has ever heard of the Beatles. Like
Blinded
in his world,
by the Light is the Springsteen movie.
What's the one with the Beatles?
Javed is his name.
Right.
Pakistani teenager. He's Pakistani, by the way.
Oh, I don't want to get that wrong.
He experiences racial and economic turmoil while living in England in '87, writes poetry as a way to escape the intolerance of his hometown and the stubborn views of his father. When a classmate introduces him to the music of Springsteen, Javed sees parallels between the singer's powerful lyrics and his own working-class environment. Springsteen's melodies soon inspired Javed to find his own voice and follow his dreams.
I love The Boss. But the Elton John movie was really, it was good. I have not seen the full start to finish of Bohemian Rhapsody. But it's a similar situation.
Bohemian Rhapsody was great. I enjoyed it very much.
The first, let's call it the first 2/3 and some bits and pieces. But now I've seen all of Rocket Man, and it's obvious. It's obvious to me that this is one of those studios. Oh, they're doing that. Let's do our own version. Okay. That's going to be successful. All right, we'll do one for these guys. And now here come the biopics of all your favorite rock stars. Except Rocket Man is more of a musical, meaning that they'll do, there's some concert footage, but there'll be a scene where they'll integrate one of Elton John's songs. And the actors are like singing it as part of the scene.
So they break into music.
They break into song. Right. Which some people like and some people can't handle. It's like, oh, this is great. This is a musical. I can't be watching a musical. And I'm on the plane. And there's some scenes in there that are like a little raunchy. Elton John doing his life stuff, which is fine. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I'm on a plane and the lady next to me is like looking down at my device. It's like, stop looking at me, lady. I'm just watching Elton John. And, of course, you talk about Elton John, you got to talk about Billy Joel. They are piano men.
Pianist?
They are penis. Did we finish the Fantasy League results? I think we did. Gio and Miami. No, I'm stopped. That's what, you know what? That's what Gary Corbett's name does. Gary, that's you, buddy.
Wow, what a segue.
That's you. Thank you for taking us on that tangent.
Woo.
Yeah. From She-Bop to Rocket Man. To Gio in Miami being 39.
To Joe doing it his way.
Yep. Francis Albert. Northwest Nitro Fanatics 40th.
You do know about the giant collection of hair pieces he had, right?
No, man. I don't even care. No? Like, what do you mean? Like, he had
like 500 different hair pieces.
Frank?
Yes. You do realize that he had a wig on for, like, the better part of his life, right?
No.
All right.
No. I don't.
How do you not see that?
Who cares?
What do you mean? Who cares? It's just one of those things, like Tom Selleck wig. What's his name? Sam Malone. Ted Danson, is that his real name?
Ted Danson. Yeah.
There you go. Sam Malone. Look at me.
It's just like Frank's hair was not anything special.
Well, because it was fake.
What year did Frank Sinatra start wearing a toupee? It's a pretty good toupee, man. Robert Redford also wears a toupee. What?
You see?
I don't know what that one looks like. But see, that's the thing. I don't care about toupee. A lot of people wore toupee. I would not wear toupee, though. But then later in life,
I would just cut it down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to go bald because I should have been by now. But as it continues to go away, I'll just keep cutting it shorter and shorter till there's nothing there. I'm not going to be doing no comb over or pulling the cul-de-sac or any of that crap.
See, none of this looks like that spectacular. Oh, there we go. All right, if that's it. Doesn't take away from Francis Albert.
No one's trying,
in any way. Jason Alexander wears a toupee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
George Costanza.
Yeah. Who else wears a toupee? Ben Affleck has worn a toupee? Dean Martin has worn a toupee? This is not possible. All these guys, you know what this tells me? Wearing a toupee is cool. What do these guys all have in common? Couple things. One,
they can sing.
They're cool, and they got star power. And two, Bill Shatner wears a toupee? What?
What? Well, that one's super well known. Captain Kirk? Yeah, man.
Is that true?
Yes. How do you not know this?
I don't care about toupee, man. Obviously, this is a big thing.
It's just funny that you don't know.
No, I never. Well, I just honestly, Frank Sinatra's hair was not really ever that plentiful. Like he had the big holes up here already. If you're gonna wear a toupee that makes it look like you're not bald. He looked like he was balding with the toupee, so that's why it kind of tricked me. You know what I mean? Like most people who go toupee, go full head of hair toupee. They want to be back to 100%. I think it was a good move by Frank. Maybe I should get a toupee. Burt Reynolds did not have a toupee. Or maybe he did. Well, regardless, it doesn't matter. That was the thing you did back in the day. Not anymore. Now it's you just shave it bald and go with it. Full head. Shave it bald. And at this point, I will welcome our great sponsors. Total Seal Piston Rings, for instance, the leader in ring seal technology. I like to imagine that there's an engine builder out there listening to our Ignition podcast and finding it humorous.
Absolutely.
No, listen, I ran into Corey Savoy, listens to everything. There's a lot of people that listen to this nonsense, man. There's a lot that listen to it.
It's not nonsense.
It's nonsensical.
This is entertainment.
It's nonsensical entertainment.
That may be so.
Yes. They listen to this stuff. And so, next time they need a piston ring, it should be from Total Seal. Next time they want to clean up a spill, it should be from Magic Dry. The next time they want to drive a dragster, it should be at Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure.
Everybody goes to Frank Hawley's to drive a dragster. There is just no other.
Next time they want some coffee, it should be Rodax CoffeeandGrills.com.
Well, nobody wants that crap Bonnie buys.
Gio and I were just enjoying the Habanero Endorphin Booster hot sauce.
Yes, we were.
If you have a factory or a machine shop, you need metalworking lubricants. You should get it from Hangstafers. And if you're going to go get education,
the only thing everybody agrees on in NHRA, Hangstafers.
Yes. And samtech.edu, doing a great job. Appreciate all of those people. And it's as simple as that. There's a factory stock podcast.
Not to mention the rest of our associates.
We have many, of which we have many. Who else? Richard Pryor had a toupee? Oh, my gosh. No, I'm just making up stuff now.
I was going to say, I don't recall Rich having much hair to begin with either, but...
No, he kind of had a fro. Right?
The Sherman Hemsley?
He did not have it. Right. But that's the point, though. If you find out that George Jefferson's hair was a toupee, it was like, what? Did he have just
right, that seems ridiculous, right? Well,
yeah, you stick it around the back.
Well, when you think of Costanza, he was kind of bald, but even that was a piece.
As I get older, the fear of going bald, it does creep in.
For real? Well, you're a good-looking guy that's on TV and in the entertainment world.
Well,
so I guess I can
and my hair has taken, it's become a thing now. It's like part of the identity. People are always like laughing about, oh man, your hair,
But again, we're mid-40s, so
you think it would have happened by now? Our hair's
I think thin. Right, we would have thinned out considerably more. Look at my friend Sean. Well, I mean, should I be outing anybody here? But you
got a bunch of friends, Sean. Could be anyone.
You're right. I do have 3 friends, yes. 4 actually now. But,
right.
But yes. One of those Seans in particular is, exactly my age, about a week younger, and he's got no hair at all. He's got like patches.
See, the top is moving back a little. It thins. It's aging. You're going to age. It's not going to be exactly the same as when you were 20.
Right.
But I'm hanging tough, man. I'm hanging tough. And my mom's father was not bald. There's no baldness of anybody that I know in our family. So I think I'm going to be okay. Knock on wood. And if not, I'm shaving it.
We're with you, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. And they won without Antonio Brown. All right, Formula One.
No, they didn't win this week. They won the first game.
Oh, first game.
They lost yesterday.
Yeah, we'll get into
Miami
Dolphins.
But that's a different story for a different
towel.
segment.
Yeah, Miami Dolphins crying towel. And how Bill Belichick and Antonio Brown basically trolled the whole league. The first 3 plays of the game were all to Antonio Brown, correct?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I had heard.
Well, Bill Belichick didn't bring him down here, for a free vacation in Miami. If he took the plane ride, he was gonna play. They're not. The Patriots aren't in the business of bringing anybody down here so that they can go hang out on South Beach.
No, I know that.
No, I just found that funny because people were like, oh, yeah, he may not play. I'm like, if he took the plane ride, he's playing. Otherwise, they would have left him back in New England.
Well, there's a controversy.
That's how the Patriots
now
work.
There's a controversy.
There is no controversy.
You think it's all BS?
Well, it's just real, there can't be a controversy until at least the league does some sort of investigation. Otherwise, it sets a crazy precedent where anybody could just say, let's just use, for example, a guy like, well, I'm not going to say him because he
the
was
superstar quarterback that's going to play against your team. Someone could come up with an allegation and have him sat down.
Who's to say that? And then you get him sit down for like a couple of weeks, then they do an investigation. And
it
turns out,
and
then he's
BS.
back.
Right.
So exactly. So you can't just blindly say, "Oh my God." Again, these are as serious as everything is. These are civil allegations, not criminal. At least not yet. And so that's another part of it. If he had been arrested and this was a criminal issue, well, then I think that it brings a whole different animal, so to speak, to the situation. Whereas this is just right now a court case of he said, she said, not a criminal case. And we'll find out.
Well, exactly. We will find out. But Dolphins crying towel.
Horrible allegations, but we can't just base anything on complete allegations because...
Well, who are we anyway?
Not us, but I mean in general. Right. Is the guy capable of doing that? By all means. Is the woman capable of making this up for a payday or whatever? By all means. Is it possible the allegations are true? Absolutely. But we don't know. And so we'll just let the evidence come out, and then we can talk about it after it happens.
Well, exactly. Just unfortunate.
That's it. It kind of sucks, but
went south real fast.
Yeah.
So here's your
the National Felon League, as our friend used to call it.
But that's
and it's again
so disrespectful.
No, not just disrespectful. Completely unfair when you consider that the amount of NFL players. I believe 32 teams of 50-something players per team. You're talking about over 1,600 players.
Yeah.
And honestly, how many guys get in trouble in an off season? A handful? I mean,
10.
Maybe even less than one per team. I mean, that's less than our normal society gets in trouble by a percentage, in terms of percentage. And so that's, it's unfortunate that, we only get to hear about guys that get in trouble.
Price of fame.
The vast majority of these guys are, outstanding guys that are trying to do the best for their communities and to help, poor children and doing charity work at hospitals and so forth.
Good old boys.
But, again, the news,
harm.
if it bleeds, it leads.
It bleeds, it leads. And also when you're a famous person, trouble finds you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has a way of finding you, especially after midnight.
People know who you are from 100 feet away.
Yes.
Like, there's that guy.
Well, you don't have to tell me. I could, as someone who had really long hair in high school, you couldn't even be anywhere near the trouble because it was really simple. Oh, yeah, to spot you from 100 yards away. Oh, yeah, look, long hair over there. There's only a couple of, there was only a few of us.
You were discriminated against because of long hair?
No, but it was really easy to figure out who it was. It was either me or two other guys. You know what I mean? Right.
The long hair dude.
Right.
Get out of the car, long hair. All right, so this weekend, the Singapore Grand Prix, Haas F1 without Rich Energy, going to take the track. And now a lot of discussion going on
They're
about...
poor now. They don't have any more Rich Energy.
Yeah, they are... Right. I really don't know what the Haas F1 report is going to be. I'll be interested to see how Ferrari does, if they can hang tough or improve or step in the right direction. It is possible.
I get the feeling that this is going to be a Mercedes week.
Yeah, probably. Well, that would be incredible if it wasn't.
Well, because Singapore is a Mercedes-type track.
Right.
Is it a night race, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Under the lights. And so we wish Haas the best of luck to go out there and have great success. Go do a good job. IndyCar, their season ends this weekend at Laguna Seca, which is really cool. They're going to be going down through the corkscrew. And 3 drivers have a mathematical chance: Joseph Newgarden, Alexander Rossi, and Simon Pagenaud.
Yeah, but mathematical. I mean, I think it's in the bag for Newgarden. He would have to basically wreck out.
It's a 41-point lead he's got. So.
Yeah.
But anything can happen.
Absolutely.
So we shall see. What else? What else have we got?
We've got we did fantasy.
Because this one is not going forever,
Indy,
man. Because I can feel myself already.
Truex. You're winding down.
Yeah,
You're winding down. I hear you.
Winding down.
You want to give us anything on Maple Grove? Any insight? We're going to hear the big interviews tomorrow?
We're going to hear interviews tomorrow. It was a super fun event. Of course, Mother Nature factored in a little bit. We were, rain delayed for a while. But
all the racing got in.
Yeah, all the racing got in. The Capco team, that's it. This is I'm proud of myself because I have analyzed the big storyline and have mentioned it to several people. I think I've mentioned it on WFO in that I am very curious to see if this dominant team, has the ability to battle from behind. To go out there and just crush the competition is one thing, but when you have brakes go against you at first, what do you do? How do you respond, right? How do you respond? And so here's a group of people that are clearly the best of the best right now, but they got an emotional blow in that they lost 600 points, which has got to be very, very annoying.
But the same thing happened last year.
Well,
you're right. It wasn't a 600-point lead,
and they won the first race. They were never behind, and they won all 6.
No, they swept. That was
right. So the same thing did not happen last year. The way I look at it is like restrictor plate racing. When you hate going to Talladega, you're probably not going to do well. That was just something we learned over the years. And Mark Martin was one. There was a couple drivers.
We used to see it, especially where else? At the road course races, too.
When you hate something, it just infects your psychology, and something ends up happening, and you end up doing poorly. I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule. But more often than not, if you go in with a negative attitude, negativity is going to follow you. So last year, the Capco team was on a mission all year long. They had recalled what happened the year before, right, which was a crash, and they lost because of a crash. And they dominated, and they just crushed everybody, and it was never in question, and that was great. Right. This year, they lost the 600 points. They've already won the championship. So what if something bizarre happened and they fell behind? How would they play from behind? Would they... Here's a team that runs on emotion. This is a team that is fueled by a fire of energy and telling the world, man, we're the best. How are they going to play from behind? It's what I was concerned about going into it. I really doubted they were going to win all 6 races again. Well, we don't have to go very far to find out. They are now behind. First time in a long time, I don't know when, I don't have it written down, that a Capco car has not gotten out of the first round of racing. Like, when was the last time that happened? So this is an extra twist to the countdown. Like, oh, man, they lost first round. What if they lose first round again and Doug Coletta wins the race in St. Louis? Suddenly, that's a lot of points. It's an interesting dynamic. It's pressure packed.
It's quite different being the hunted versus the hunter.
Well, all of these things. And so, and who knows? Maybe they go win the last 5 of 6, and they just dominate. Like, it's worth watching, and the entertainment value of it. Seeing these people that you know what they're capable of in interesting situations, like the great comeback story. Maybe that is what will happen. Maybe they'll fall behind and then have a great comeback and get it together. Or maybe they'll collapse. Like, you just don't know. Now, by the way, it's very possible that someone on the Capco team is listening right now. I'm not predicting that will happen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is only so many possibilities of what might happen in this countdown. And one of the possibilities is they fall behind.
Well, there was a 50-50 chance, right?
No, not a 50-50 chance. They won 8 races, and the next close guy won 2 races.
No, but either they were going to win the race and be ahead or go to the finals, or they were not and fall behind.
They started with a 20-point lead. 50-50 it depended on who won. All of those things is what I'm saying. But now we get to see. The John Force thing, just amazing. That John is on rails, doing so well.
It is unbelievable, John, at his advanced age.
70 years old. He can still get it done in the car. But Jack Beckman was cool. Pro stock wide open. Thought Erica was going to be an Erica weekend. And they got beat by Fernando Quadra. Took him a little lightly, I think. And then
I wanted to ask you about
Andrew Hines is in the same situation as Capco. Dominated the season. All right, now you're behind. What do you got? Playing from behind is harder. Down by 15 in the third quarter of a basketball game. Can you get back up and get into it?
Well, in basketball, yeah. Everybody
down by
makes
20.
Run.
2 touchdowns in a football game in the fourth quarter. Can you come back? What are you laughing at?
Well, it depends on the team. You could be down 2 touchdowns after 3 minutes, but...
Yeah. Well, you got to have a team. But, if you're the great Dan Marino, you can come back down by 14 with 3 minutes to go. You can. It's never over. Baseball, same thing. Down 5 runs in the ninth. Can you come back and win? That's what is interesting about it. So I think it's actually a nice story to follow. So we'll see. Other than that, it was a good race. I met Larry Holmes.
I saw that. I saw the pictures. Champ.
Yeah.
Giving you the fist.
We both. And I'm like,
yeah, I know, yeah.
What?
Your enormous hands
My hand
is about the size of the champs, right?
They were about the same.
I always remember seeing as a kid him whoop on Jerry Cooney. Remember that?
He called Jerry Cooney while he was out there.
That's it. Wow. Imagine. Look at that. By the way, we did not discuss this at all.
Great White Hope. The discussion was someone mentioned Jerry Cooney. He goes, "Oh, you want me to call Jerry?" And he started to call him.
That's hilarious.
They talk. They're buddies. They're like pals. Larry Holmes and Jerry Cooney.
Like Rocco and Apollo Creed.
Right.
Till he died. I mean, I guess they can't be friends anymore.
No, he goes and visits the grave, man.
Beyond the grave.
Yeah. You haven't seen any of the Creed movies?
Nope.
How do you not watch the Creed movies? You haven't seen either Creed movie?
Nope.
What? That is horrific. Seriously. Shame. Ding. Shame. Ding. They're good. They're both really good. Super great entertainment. Well worth it. Especially if you like Rocky. What?
I'll let you know when we get to the next segment.
Uh-oh.
Breaking news.
Oh, really? Well, let's just do it. Sports Collision, go.
Breaking news for Joe Costello right here.
The Miami Dolphins have been contracted from the league, and they are no longer going to play. They've switched their team colors to pink and mauve.
Let's be honest. If they didn't contract the Cleveland Browns over the last 2 decades, then they're never going to contract anybody.
Good point.
Miami Dolphins have sent last year's number 1 pick, Minkah Fitzpatrick, to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2020 first-round pick.
That's great.
Is
it? Yes.
So another first-year player, we're just going to trade him for another future draft pick.
Yes. Here's why.
Why?
One, he wants off the team.
Whoa.
He said the other day he wants off, he wants out. So his head is not going to be in the right spot anyway. 2, Big Ben just went down. They don't have a quarterback either. So their first-round draft pick will probably end up being pretty good or okay.
Possibly.
So you're going to get your first-round draft pick, which is going to be great. And now you have 2 more first-round draft picks?
Yeah, who did they pick up last week?
Houston,
but Houston could be a playoff team.
Okay, but you're going to get 3 first-round draft picks and 2 second-round draft picks? That's what you need to rebuild a team, what we were just talking about.
Possibly, if you pick the right players.
Which is a different story, but you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to stop doing that. In this phase of the game... You
want me to stop doing that, but this team has not shown you any evidence to suggest that they know what they're doing.
But that's irrelevant.
But it is. That's all the relevance in the world.
Not. You got to jump ahead. Those were different people.
Don't blindly
you don't blindly. Those were different human beings.
No, this guy's been in charge now for the last 2 years.
You're going back historically. He got Minka Fitzpatrick.
I know, and then that's it. After 1 year, you decide, oh, you know what, let's just give up on that.
Well, the guy wanted out. He's a head case.
Is it a head case, really, when you just get there and, you feel like if you were sold a bill of goods?
Maybe. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're like, you know what, man, whatever. Get out of here.
All right. Look, I get it. You're happy and you're all in on the picks, but...
Picks, baby. Picks. It's going to be like Jimmy Johnson at the Cowboys, man. That's what it's going to be like. We got so many picks. We got more picks than anybody now. Who else can we get rid of? Let's see if we could trade away that the goalpost. And we'll just have one, and we'll move it back and forth.
Yeah, what do you need two for?
Right. We're not going to score.
Why don't we just play on a 50-yard field, and, we'll go only...
Half court.
Yeah, half court. We keep going. Everybody scores on the same end.
It is funny, and the Miami Dolphins have been outscored 100-something to 10.
102. They gave up 59-10 in Week 1 and 43-0 yesterday.
Yeah, so it is historic, epic fail, but I'm enjoying it. You don't understand. I am enjoying it. This is what had to happen. All the 8-8 and 6-10, 5-11, 8-8, 7-9. 9-7. It has been.
But let me point out something to you.
You've got to bottom out. It's always darkest before the dawn, baby.
Okay,
and right now it is the darkest.
All right,
it has been.
Look, you don't have to tell me. I am the king of fortune cookie wisdom.
This is the darkest.
It potentially may not be the darkest, because let me. Just give you a...
They get the picks next year.
No, not at that.
I'm not going to... Everyone is a bust.
I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to talk about what has previously happened, where in the early 90s, 10-6, 11-5, and making the playoffs and losing the championship game and losing in the playoffs in the divisional game...
Was not good enough.
Was not good enough.
No.
And then that brought in the era of not making the playoffs.
It's the curse of Don Shula is really what
whatever
all this
it
happened.
is. But then Jimmy rebuilt the team, and when he left here, it was really good defense. The offense was not in great much. But then they picked up Ricky Williams.
Yes,
and they had all that. And the Wanstash had a bunch of 10-6 years, 10-6, 10-6, 11-5, and lost in the first round 2 or 3 years in a row, and that became not good enough, which led to kind of like the current incarnation of being stuck between 6-10 and 7-9 and 9-7,
with a never-ending rotisserie of head coaches coming and going,
absolutely,
as well as quarterbacks.
And so, notice.
And when you had a chance to get Dante Culpepper or Drew Brees, you took Culpepper, not Brees.
Are the Dolphins now trending into something where, after the next 3, 4, 5 years, the 6-10, 7-9, and 9-7 might be something that we're begging for?
Yeah, they're going to be like -5.
They're going to be right where after 2-14 and 3-13 and a couple of more, where they could realistically win 6 to 8 games, be 8-40 over the next 3 years, and all of a sudden that 6-9, 6-10, and 7-9 and 9-7 doesn't look so bad after all, does it?
Listen, if you get,
I'm just saying,
yeah, but that's the thing is it's trees don't grow to the sky, but at the same time you can only hit rock bottom. There's no below rock bottom. We're not going subterranean here, hopefully.
Let's hope not.
No, I created this story just to be funny. They get their 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, and I think they have 2 third-round picks, and they're all bust. You know what I mean? Every pick is a bust. Like every player that they pick sucks.
I mean, it would be almost
someone
impossible.
Gets an injury, like, oh, this guy's great. Oh no, his Achilles snapped as he was going down the stairs. Oh, he's out for 3
But at
years.
the moment, they have 3 firsts, 2 seconds, 1 third, 1 fourth, and 2 sixths. 2 sixths.
It's a lot of picks.
It is, and I agree.
They'd have to,
but
the position of those picks are going to be good too.
Yeah.
So
the only thing I'm slightly, hesitant about is that I you're all in on the rebuild, and I get it. I would generally be. I just feel like if they've gone to way too bad.
Wow.
They've gotten to the point that this isn't gonna just turn around, even if they get their star quarterback next year. That's all I'm concerned with. That getting the star quarterback, they might end up wasting those first 4 years that this star quarterback is on the cheap contract. And next thing you know, they got to pay him $20, $30 million.
Free agency. They're going to get all these picks. They're going to supplement it with free agency. They're going to try to find some diamonds in the rough.
Look, I genuinely hope so.
Yeah.
Especially for the fans. Because, by the way,
this is how you win the 2024 Super Bowl.
Are they giving back 25, 30, 40% off on those season ticket prices? Or on regular prices?
No, and that's the one downside. Like that is, how do you explain that to people? Like, there is not a single player on the field that anybody is interested in watching play.
Because
on the Dolphins
right
side.
now, the state of local sports is
the worst it's ever been in our history.
I don't want to use a term I'm thinking of because, some people can take offense to it, but it's terrible.
It is a terrible thing.
It's terrible.
It is, Michael.
And the thing is that at least with the Miami Heat, who have not been great since
something unholy, Mike,
since LeBron left.
Yes,
you feel like they're trying to win every year, and they go in there with a team. They've been about 500. And they, 1 year they make the playoffs, 1 year they're just out, but they're not tanking. They're not trying to suck.
Well, basketball works differently.
Well, and in basketball of all sports, one guy makes a huge difference compared to the NFL.
And when you're a winning team, it has its own momentum. That's the thing. It's like you got to learn how to win. You have to learn how to win and be a winner and all that stuff. And when you're a winner, you can not win for a while, but you're still a winner. You can get back to being a winner because you know how to win, right? The Dolphins forgot how to win a long, long time ago.
I mean, remember when we were growing up at one point in the 80s and 90s, this was the most successful and winningest franchise by percentage in all of sports, not just football.
Yes.
I think at one point they had the most, the winningest record in all of sports. We're talking about compared to the Lakers and compared to the Yankees.
It's the coach. It's the curse of Don Shula. Don Shula, who is a very positive, classy guy who brought the perfect season and had some great success and drafted Marino. Didn't put him over the top, right? They didn't put him over the top because of a couple of personal flaws, extreme loyalty to defensive coordinator Tom Olivadotti, and a couple of things that happened that you guys outside of Miami could care less about, but I'm just getting you up to speed. And anyway, the local community, which you think everybody down here would be relaxed and nice and, the vacation atmosphere and beach and all that, but it is not true. People down here can be very harsh and abrasive. And so the local fan base kind of rode him out on a rail. Get rid of him, the brainstem. Remember the brainstem?
Yeah, no, I sure do.
Neil used to call him the brainstem, right? Because he was old, and they said that Shula was a doddering old man, and that the game had passed him by. And meanwhile, you got Jimmy Johnson from the U doing his thing, and he goes to Dallas, and he gets the Herschel Walker trade served up to him, and he hits on the picks and does a good job.
Served up to him. He went out and did that.
Well, he did.
And by the way, remember, they thought he was crazy for giving up the only asset the team had.
Goes on to win the Super Bowl, and then is a commentator.
Multiple Super Bowls.
And kind of positioned himself to take over the team. And it was a little shady. It was a shady move to do that to a guy like Shula. But it happened. And since then, the team has been cursed. The curse of Shula.
It very well could be.
And Jimmy got rid of Marino. Marino had another year left in him. He could have done something. Like, Jimmy could have worked much better with Marino.
They both retired at the same time after that shellacking in Jacksonville at that playoff game.
Yes, but remember, Marino was going to go to the Vikings.
He considered and then just decided to retire.
Jimmy decided.
Jimmy retired too. They both left after that game. They never played again, either one of them.
Jimmy took away the audible from Marino. And
look, you don't have
to remind me. I know what happened. Went down.
I remember what happened. I think he threw a pick six on one of the first plays because they knew the audible calls. Remember, that was the whole fight.
They had tipped off Jimmy had tipped it off because he wanted
Jimmy didn't tip it off, all right?
A lot of people say that he did.
No.
And then Wonstash comes in.
I will blame Jimmy for not doing what he should have done and was just get rid of Marino is what he really needed to do. Either let the guy do what he does or get rid of him. Like what he did, just, it wasn't going to work out. You can't rein in that guy.
No.
So if you were going to do that, then you should have gotten rid of him.
Yeah, for what?
It doesn't
Jay
matter.
Fiedler.
For a bag full of balls. It doesn't matter at that point.
Well, that would have been bad
traded.
policy.
He could have. Marino played 3 years with Jimmy.
Yeah.
He could have sent him away to a winning team at that point in the NFC, so you never had to see him again.
They would have lost the fan base at that point. Marino was too popular.
That may be so, but what he did, especially now,
it began the downward spiral. That was where it started, man. That was the downward spiral.
Right,
Jimmy Johnson killed the Dolphins.
Somewhat.
And then handed it to Juan Stash, who, judging by his long and successful coaching career, was a very good decision. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And now it is the absolute ground zero. Or maybe a little subterranean. A little bit. Like a jet hitting the earth.
People under the stairs or something.
That's where there's only one way to be, man. It's optimistic. All right, what else? Talk about it. Let's get off this.
That's all I had because the Dolphins.
Well, it was breaking news.
It was breaking news now.
Breaking news.
They traded their last
year's
number 1 pick
in the NFL so far.
Star quarterbacks getting hurt is the big news to me. We just mentioned Pittsburgh lost Ben Roethlisberger, elbow injury, non-contact.
Drew Brees had a significant injury to his hand.
Well, he smashed his hand. He got his hand caught in somebody else's hand. At least he got hit. Mm-hmm. Ben just threw a pass and all of a sudden grabbed for his arm. Didn't get touched, non-contact injury, which looked to me, God, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I will say it looked like one of those pitching injuries. I'd hate to think he's going to need Tommy John or something. But, might be the end of a career. Drew Brees, apparently some sort of a thumb ligament, minimum 6 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah. Last week, the team that's playing right now Monday Night Football, the New York Jets, their quarterback, second year, Sam Darnold, who their franchise quarterback's got the mono. I thought that was something that was only spread amongst teenagers swapping spit.
Yeah, the kissing disease or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's what insert appropriate joke here or whatever you want of Sam going around all the clubs in New York making out with everybody.
Probably, but he's in his early 20s, practically
I believe
a teenager.
He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
He's may still be the youngest guy in the league. He was officially the youngest starter last year, so. But, big news around the league. Dolphins historically bad, and then you got other franchises that appear to be, well on their way to another playoff Super Bowl run. I'm telling you right now, I could see the Chiefs and the Patriots meeting in the championship again.
Very possible.
Well, the AFC championship.
A lot of people are saying that the Patriots are going to go perfect. I've seen that story in like 5 different places.
Well, they've never been perfect, so.
But that's the thing. That's what.
So they might have a winless? No, not winless. The opposite. Undefeated regular season. But they can end up 18-1 again.
Oh man, that would be.
Oh man, imagine! I think Bill's head would explode.
Yes. New York Yankees postseason tickets are on sale.
Let's go.
That's exciting.
We're
Severino
there.
Set to make his long-anticipated debut.
Betances pitched yesterday.
Betances was sharp, I heard.
He was on it.
It's good. That is exciting.
And he was pitching great, too.
How are we looking for best record?
We are right now currently tied with the Houston Astros for best record.
Oh, my goodness.
1 game ahead of the Dodgers.
Well, I just care
with
about
12 games left, so it's tough.
We're in a race. You got to get that. You got to get race for home field.
2 weeks left in the regular season. I believe that the home field is of utmost importance.
I think they would agree.
We were up 3-2 2 years ago and couldn't win game 5 or 6 in Houston. So
exactly.
So I think that the home field could be the difference.
We shall see. And Mariano Rivera got the Presidential Medal of Freedom today.
Got today? Yeah, or yesterday? Yeah, today.
It was today.
Right. It was earlier today.
Yes.
Yeah, way to go, Mo. Thank you for those 5 World Series.
Excellent stuff. Anything else? Any other final thoughts?
I mean, that's all I had in the SportsCollision.
SportsCollision. No, that works for me. And one thing else, I watched Chernobyl on HBO.
That's a series, though, right?
It's 4 episodes.
Okay. Yeah.
4. It's a mini series. Remember, like V?
Yeah. Well, V was a lot more than 4 episodes.
No, V was 3 nights.
Dude, it became a whole.
Yeah, it became a series, but the original
correct.
V was. I love the fact that I go to V for my miniseries reference.
Yeah, Delta Burke.
And the guy who played Freddy Krueger was in there too.
Yeah,
remember he ate a mouse.
That they used to eat mice, right? Isn't that what they used to eat? I got one.
I loved The Visitors. I thought it was a great series. They went off the rails, but as a kid, man, The Visitors was fantastic.
Yeah, no, and the special effects were great. Oh. I got one that I rediscovered last night. Those of you that have the ESPN Plus, NFL Prime Time with Boomer and Tom Jackson is back on the ESPN Plus.
Oh, really?
You remember that? The Sunday night highlight show?
No.
Prime Time.
Maybe.
You're a loser.
Maybe. I don't know, man. On ESPN Plus?
Well, it's on there now, but it used to be like the regular Sunday night highlight show.
Or is this
it's an old show, the old school NFL highlight show. It was called Primetime.
So you're watching
with Boomer.
Old highlights?
No, they're new now. They're back.
Oh, okay.
It's not shown on the regular ESPN for contractual reasons because of the Sunday Night Football. And ESPN no longer has Sunday Night Football. This used to be the highlight show that would come on, after the games from 7 to 8 before the ESPN Sunday Night Football.
Got it.
But now that spot technically belongs to NBC with the Football Night in America.
Right.
So ESPN is able to do it on their ESPN Plus pay site.
Got it.
And so I saw some of that, and I thought it was great because, I'm one for nostalgia. I like Boomer and Tom Jackson.
There it is. Boomer and Mad Dog have got a thing on the Sirius.
No, not that Boomer.
Different Boomer?
Chris Berman.
Oh.
Back, stumbling, bumbling,
rumbling.
Oh,
he's back on. That's the thing.
But, that's the thing. Berman and Tom Jackson.
Oh, well, you're saying Boomer. I thought you meant Boomer Esiason, who is a very big, well-known, current, and relevant football analyst. Instead, you're talking about the retired old guy.
Boomer Esiason hasn't been relevant since the 87 Super Bowl.
He is. Come on, man. He is out there all the time.
He may have a radio show, and he's
all over the place.
Yeah, again.
He's on New York radio. What do you mean? He's like
I don't consider Boomer
Sports Talk Radio.
He's relevant at all. Yeah, Boomer and Gio, I know. And the Gio got all indicted on a million different felonies and stuff.
Yes.
But it wasn't me. Not this Gio.
Anyway, let me tell you about Chernobyl.
I ain't going out like that.
Chernobyl. Very frightening, man. Very frightening. 4 episodes.
Well, I would be afraid of a nuclear meltdown situation.
Yeah, bro. They almost destroyed the world. Assuming that the story is true, because it is possible that whoever made it embellished the incompetence and embellished the facts. I don't know that.
Is,
I guess
a made-for-TV entertainment situation. It's not a documentary.
And how do we know this information? Because the Russians are secretive about their stuff, so we don't know. But
you think the Russians are secretive?
It is not a positive depiction of the communist system of the Soviet Union. Let's put it that way. They were more concerned about the blame game and how they would look than the fact that this reactor is about to melt through the earth and come out the other side. But worth watching. It's an hour each episode times 4. And it's dark, man. It's dark. It's people getting radioactivity disease, like radiation
then you would
disease.
think they'd be glowing orange or something. It shouldn't be that dark.
No, very spooky, shot very dark, very gray, very Russia. And it's like, hey, we think this bad thing happened. They're like, no, that couldn't have happened. Send the firefighters in. Like, no, don't go in there, guys. There they go. Big mistake. And now, vomiting and...
Next thing you know, everybody's got permanent orange afros.
Permanent orange afro.
Oh, am I not supposed to make
That's a Spies Like Us reference. Yeah, you can say permanent orange afro.
All right. Well, I was talking.
The worst thing that was going to happen is they were going to kill everybody in all of Europe.
With the radiation fallout? Or?
Yes. Well, there were these tanks underneath the reactor that filled with water. And the molten magma from the melting down core was going to hit the tanks and cause an instantaneous, massive megaton explosion.
Wow.
That would have, distributed all the radioactive stuff over all of Europe and killed everybody and made all of Europe and a lot of Russia uninhabitable for thousands of years. And they were like hours from that happening. But they were able to prevent it.
So like the zombie apocalypse.
No, there would be no zombies. The zombies would not live through this. The radiation kills the zombies. The radiation kills
Nothing
everything.
kills zombies.
No, radiation kills everything. It was really interesting. And I have like 15 minutes left.
Of the shows.
Yeah. I got down to the final thing. But yeah, Chernobyl, if you want to, it was well done. Dark, creepy, scary, Russian. And it gives you a nice window into communism. Like how the party handles stuff. KGB, following people around, making sure.
We have ways of making you speak.
We have ways, yes. Very, very spooky. Very. Other than that, I'm good.
Entertaining. Other than that, right? It's entertaining.
If you can handle dark stuff like that, yeah. If you're squeamish, no, because there's a lot of vomiting and a lot of people who are exposed to radiation. Ew. Yeah, and this one guy, he comes up. It's crazy. This is crazy seeing this one guy, and he comes up, and he looks, and his friend is on the other side of this glass, and he goes to him, and he's all messed up from radiation, and he goes to him, and he goes, "Ship out of danger?" And, oh, wait, no, that's Wrath of Khan. I'm sorry. Different radiation movie. Yeah. Come on, that's funny. Come on.
I got it.
Spock. That was the first guy that I loved that died of radiation poisoning. Remember that? He went in and he saved the day.
He did, but he wasn't. It turned out he wasn't dead.
No, they saved him.
Yeah, no, and they just shipped him.
Out of danger? Yes, Spock. You saved the ship. And all you're telling me he was wearing a toupee all that time?
Yep. Sure was. What do you got against hair pieces, man?
No, I love Kirk, man. I love Kirk. And that movie especially, Wrath of Khan. It's the greatest one ever.
Oh, come on. That's got nothing on T.J. Hooker.
Yeah, it does.
What do you mean? You didn't watch T.J. Hooker?
No. But Heather Locklear was in that back when she was not crazy and super hot. Right? Heather Locklear was in T.J. Hooker?
Well, she was super hot, and she wasn't crazy.
Back then.
Correct.
But now.
Now she is kind of crazy. And
not super hot.
I'm sure she's just aged, not very
but she's had all kinds of problems. Like,
no, I've seen her. She's like drunk or something.
Well, she tried to kill herself several times, I think.
Well,
lots of different various.
We shouldn't be mocking that.
No, we're not. I mean, it's just sad. Sad. But I can understand it. It used to be that hot. Now,
Oh, that's terrible. So you're just saying that, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. I'm leaving that alone.
Well, it's got to be very, listen, we were just stressing about hair loss.
Whoa, it's this wee crap. I'm not stressing about it.
There was a little bit of stress there.
Yeah,
like, oh, man.
I guess you're vain then.
No, listen, we're all vain. You're vain.
Did Carly write that song about you?
Everybody is a little vain. And so you can understand that you're one of the hottest women on the planet. Heather Locklear was. And, the world stuff happens. It's got to be a bummer. That's all.
I always thought the song was about Warren Beatty. Turns out to be about Joe Castello.
You're vain,
Imagine
too.
that.
You are a vain person.
I am not.
Everybody has got a little vanity, and it's good. Good to have vanity. A little, not a lot. All right, that's all I got. I'm done. I appreciate you guys, the audience. Hopefully this was a little bit entertaining for you. NHRA Nitro this week, where we've got nobody planned, but we're working on Fast Jack Beckman. We are working on...
Let me guess.
Richie Crampton. We are working on Jason Line, and we're working on Jerry Savoy. I feel like Jason, Jerry are going to be definites. I think that Richie has already confirmed. Got to get him and find out if anyone's seen Richie. Or if anybody knows anybody knows who
Richie,
did,
get on the clock.
If who did Bobby Lupo, right? And then, of course, Jack Beckman. Catch up with Jack for a nice analytical conversation.
Jack is great. I like the way he describes the run from inside the car it's like almost, hearing him describe that run, it's almost like if you're in there with him.
Yeah, no, he's really good.
He's really good at that.
Man,
Very descriptive.
I was happy for John Medlin and Dean Antonelli. In the end, it was great. Our next race is out there in St. Louis, and that's going to be a lot of fun also. Then to Charlotte, then Dallas, then Vegas, then Pomona, then it's over. Very exciting. Big awards ceremony out there. NHRA prom. It's going to be amazing. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. You can always email us, joe@wforadio.com. That is the email address. Find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Rate and review. Was this interesting? We're definitely all over the place. If nothing else, you get a stream of consciousness, the likes of which we have never seen. Thanks to Gio in Miami and everybody behind the scenes, like Patrick the Webmaster and Steve Bughunton, who does the artwork for the shows.
Patrick making a run to get his name on the trophy.
I know, and he's got so much going on in his life, too, because he just moved to Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Increíble.
Got to keep the pressure on, though, man. Got to keep the pressure on. You only get a chance like this once in a lifetime. 9 races from glory.
Well, you could finish 4th, 3rd, and 2nd and then just crap out.
That could happen. Well, exactly. You're the Miami Dolphins of the Fantasy League.
Yeah, the Dolphins wish they were as good at what they do as I have been in fantasy for the last...
We hit this audience with South Florida sports, but, they got their own teams. I get it. But at least they understand our pain.
Well, call us. Let us know about your team. We can give you some of the pain for your team, too.
Yes.
We are very versed in all the teams.
And the pain. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. See you next time. WFO.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Bye, bye, bye.